Meeting is called to order. Proper quorum has been determined. Approval of minutes, April 27, 2010.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the meeting as submitted.
Second.
Motion was made for approval of minutes and properly second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. New business, concept plan, Nicaragua Industrial Park, 5 lots, 90 acres, located on New Paul Road, tax map 17, parcel 38 and 40. I-2 zoning district, property owned by Patriot LLC.
Yes, sir, Chairman. This is a concept plan for 5 lots. There's no current connections to Metro available, and that's what we were looking at the workshop some here. There's a cul-de-sac proposed here at the end at this time. However, it could be subject to change in the future. You know, we'll likely want a traffic study done in the future when we get a major traffic generator proposed for that area. However, at this time, it's very difficult to determine what kind of traffic conditions there's going to be with no development there. They have the zoning and the aerial for that area. This is the overlay district along the frontage here, and then the I-2 zoning that's underlying. The aerial, this is an old aerial. As you all know, all this area's been graded out since this 2007 aerial. Some pictures of the site here. This is the temporary lot that was approved in, I think, 2008. And this is looking back toward Laverne here. This is the approximate location of the extension of the road.
That's what the interstate on the left, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, is there anyone from Patriot LLC here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. I'm Roy Dale. I'm an engineer representing Patriot LLC. We really have enjoyed working with the city. The staff has been very, very good to us. I know my client is very excited to build his facility here in the city. It's something he's wanting to do. He's wanted to do for some time. That's why he bought this property. And this is obviously a concept going on. So, so before you is the concept plan. We would ask for you to approve this today so we can keep on track. We're hoping to break ground on the actual construction of the building like the 1st of July. And so a lot of work has to take place between now and then, and this is an integral step, important to us, and we would appreciate you recommending approval. Thank you.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
From the workshop, we've changed the amount of lots. Can you just explain your thought process on that, just so we can understand that?
Exactly, and you know, I don't have a lot of experience working with the city of Laverne. Every city is a little bit different, and as they should be. Every city has its own unique characteristics. But generally, when we do a preliminary plan, when we show the number of lots, as long as we don't increase the number of lots, it's not indicated to be a substantial change. In this case, we just indicated lots where we thought maybe our client would have lots in the future, but the only defined lot that we know that we're going to be building on right now is the main. Which lot is that on the plan? Exactly, Lot 3. So Lot 3 is the lot that we need to record immediately, or, once it goes through the process. We want to go ahead and record the dedicated right-of-way as well, and then just show the rest as one parcel for right now instead of two.
Okay, just clarify if you would, because we're only on this, the one we're looking at, which is dated the 21st, it's only showing 1 and 2. So can you just, let's qualify which one we're referring to here.
I think there's a little bit of confusion already. The concept plan that we're looking at right now is still 5 lots.
Okay.
Because that's the concept they're going with. It's just the preliminary plat, that's going to be where it changes down to 3 lots, and that's due to conflict with the existing sales lot that's here, the property line that would be 1 and 2. It's going to be an issue with that once they try to record
that
that
the
to get a
concept
CO for the permanent lot that they're wanting to build. Once you record the plat, then we're going to have an issue with that lot with this layout. But the 5 lot's still kind of the concept plan. The plat is what they're wanting to do is just the 3 lots, which is going to be the common area with the detention ponds is going to be still a common area. That's going to be 1 lot. The lot that they're talking about wanting to do the truck sales lot, that's going to be a lot. And then you're going to have the remainder. That's what's on the preliminary plat. That's item number 2, but this concept plan's still the same.
Okay, so working off the 21st is a stamp date, is that correct?
May 14th.
May 14th is-
This is the one that's labeled the concept plan. I think you might be looking at the one labeled as the plat because it's got the 21st date
Okay,
stamp on it.
so that the 14th is the concept and the 21st
Yes.
is the preliminary.
I'm sorry I didn't explain that very well. The concept plan as submitted is fine.
Right.
Okay. From the workshop, we had 4 issues. Have all those 4 issues been addressed?
Yes, sir.
I had also one question on the turning radius. Has that been validated? I see it's been identified on one. Has that been?
Yes, they've shown the radius, and it is what our requirements are.
Okay, with all 4 issues been addressed on technical items and the one item that we had, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the concept plan as submitted for May the 14th.
Okay, a motion is made for concept plan submitted for May 14th. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, Mr. Grant, primary plat, Nicarado Industrial Park, 5 lots, 91 acres, located on New Paul Road, tax map 17, parcel 38 and 40, I-2 zoning district, property owned by Patriot LLC.
Yes, sir. This is the preliminary plat that's been submitted. It shows 3 lots, which is essentially, as we were discussing before, the proposed dealership would be on this, which would be lot 2 on the preliminary plat. There's a detention area that will also serve as a lot, and that's to be maintained by the Property Owners Association, which they did provide us with covenants and restrictions, and I did email that out to the Planning and Board of Zoning list. And also, there's 1 lot for future development. It's the large lot that's in the back, and we'll likely see a re-subdivision of that in the future whenever they find more tenants for, more potential clients for that the area.
And if you don't mind explaining to, just for the record, for re-subdivision, what will we be expecting? Is it going to come back before the BOZA or the planning, or how is that going to happen?
The Planning Commission, where this major subdivision would be considered, it would have to have the preliminary plat like you're seeing tonight. Any minor subdivision that doesn't include infrastructure would have to, it could actually just come back as a final plat. And, you know, it depends on whether or not there's roads or water and sewer and that sort of thing put in. But essentially, this preliminary plat meets all the city's requirements for subdivision, and we'll likely see a final plat on, you know, showing this exact or very, very similar layout next month, I think.
And one thing that's also, it's kind of concurrent with this, but it's a staff review, is once they submit the preliminary plat, if it gets approved, then they have a layout that they know they're gonna go with at that point. They'll submit construction plans to engineering department for review of the roadway, drainage, water sewer system and all that. That's taken a look at in the next month. Probably they'll probably be submitting them very shortly, and then next month you'll probably see a final plat that's going to follow this layout here.
At what stage in this process will we have to approve or have completed the traffic study?
At this time, it's very difficult to determine what to base the traffic study on. You know, they are looking at a dealership for one of the lots. However, whenever they get more tenants, you know, whenever they go to re-subdivide it at any point in the future, or they get potentially a site plan in for one of these, the larger lot, I think that at that time, you know, it could potentially, you know, at your all's discretion, require the traffic study just based on the number of trips that could potentially generate. You know, normally get a major traffic generator or something, you know, something that produce a lot of traffic, then we would definitely want to require that.
And as this process goes along, you'll like you can see, lot 1's 73 acres, so it's going to be subdivided more likely again, and if it is, or even if it isn't, you'll, at the time of whenever they're going to develop it, you'll kind of know what they're bringing in, or if they come in with more plats, then we may have to go back to revisit the concept plan and revise the concept plan, and at that point, that might be when you ask for a traffic study. The other thing you'd be looking at is, depending on how this develops and how many lots get put out here and what goes on each lot, we may have to revisit the water and sewer capacity also. At this point, they've submitted a pretty good estimate of what they feel like is going to go in this area. The water and sewer we have capacity for. At this time, they've got letters from Public Works on that, so they've done what they're supposed to do to this point as far as water and sewer. And like Grant's saying, at this point, with just the truck lot that we know, sales lot that we know is probably going to go on lot 2, that's not generally a huge traffic generator, even though, you know, it is more truck traffic, but that's kind of where construction plans will make sure that the portion of the roadway that they're installing is going to be built per our specs of what that industrial type roadway would be. And then like I say, anything else that's future development, it's going to be subject to either more plats or something that at that time, if you see something that's coming in that's going to be a huge traffic generator, you may look to see if any other improvements elsewhere needs to be made, stuff like that.
Thank you.
And Grant, just a question on the covenants restrictions. Our legal department look at that. Did they give an opinion?
I did send that to Evan and Jeremy, I believe, and I know when looking at it myself, they seem very basic, but, you know, it does meet the, you know, they did submit them. And did you all have a chance to look at those, or have you talked to Evan about that?
I looked at them, I talked to Evan, I didn't have any objections.
I do notice that one corner of it does, of lot 1, does breach into Davidson County. So my motion, Mr. Chairman, will be to accept as submitted, dated for Laverne, May 21st, but make a note that the approval does not constitute the Davidson County portion of lot 1. That's for the ownership to address, take care of. Is that, you understand it? Sorry, it sits at the corner, sorry, on lot 1, in this very corner here, you got a boundary line. So our approval is only for Rutherford County.
I understand.
Okay, so
and Adam from my office is probably better to address this, but early on we approached Davidson County about that parcel, and Davidson County has basically relinquished the rights of that property to your county as far as assessment and use. Tax assessment and use.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, Mr. Chair, I shall make the motion as submitted for dated the 21st, referencing the Rutherford County section. So we're just approving our portion. Obviously, the other side is a legal issue, but I'll make that motion.
Okay, with the motion on the floor, I'd like to ask one other question. Do we have something, and did they send you a letter or that we can attach?
Yes, my name's Adam Sager with Dale and Associates. I spoke with both the tax assessor from Rutherford County and from Davidson County. They have an agreement. I do have something on file, I believe, but they had an agreement that passed between them stating that this portion of the property would be assessed through Laverne. So y'all have another little sliver of property that is now taxed through y'all.
Okay.
And like I said, that coordination happened between the two tax assessors of Rutherford and Davidson County.
Okay, let me just qualify this. I agree on the taxes. My concern is this board's approval capacity does not reach in Davidson County.
Yes,
Therefore,
yes.
irrespective of the taxes, my motion is that we accept as submitted in accordance with the May 21st, what it's dated for, we dated it for the Rutherford County section only. Is there any other issues in Davidson County? That's something that the ownership will have to address themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Okay.
be fine.
And taking that into consideration, I agree with you on that point. And I'd like to say that we have a motion to accept for the Rutherford County property line only, and with an addendum to the agreement between the property assessor for Rutherford County and Davidson County being turned into our staff to acknowledge that agreement,
Sure.
to tack on to this agreement being made tonight.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Does that make sense with the board?
Agreed.
Does the board agree on that?
With that, I second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, recommendation to the Board of Aldermen, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, ordinance number 2010-05, an ordinance to amend Article 5 of the Laverne zoning ordinance to add a new section 5.056.2 to the South Waldron Road Overlay District. Staff?
Yes, sir. This is the South Waldron Overlay District that was requested to be revised and sent back to the Planning Commission. All this really does is amend the variance procedure to allow for a variance for the industrial properties within the overlay. So what they'd be able to do is request a variance for the exterior just based on what they present, and then the Board of Zoning would be able to determine whether or not that's acceptable or not.
Ms. Green, that the changes are on page 7, the ones underlined. Those are the two as we discussed in the workshop. Page
Yes.
7. Item 6 was on page 7 of the one document I'm looking at. Those are the two changes.
Yes, sir. Everything that's in this report was what was discussed at the workshop.
Okay, so we're just adding a sentence of except for structures located in industrial zoning district, and except for structures located, well, it's in there twice. Okay. We discussed this heavily at the workshop, and I think we've got some good input put into this, so I'll make a recommendation to pass a favourable recommendation to Mayor Oldman for ordinance 2010-05, as submitted.
We have a motion for a submission for a favorable recommendation as submitted. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Bonds and letters of credit update. Staff?
Mr. Chairman, everyone should have a current bond sheet in front of them. It's current as May 25th. Basically, everything is up to date except for, or it's still up to date so far. Waiting on Cedar Grove. Been in contact with the developer and the bank on that one. That should be extended and has been approved for an extension of a year based on what the bank has told me. I'm just waiting on receiving the document. And then McFarland Point, I spoke to the developer and he said he was going to be in the process of getting the ones for June 15th renewed for another 3 months and until we get that issue resolved with a final acceptance and issues, some punch list items and things like that.
Any questions from the board?
Looks good.
Looks good. Before we close tonight, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge the fact that our chairman has family members that is under the weather, per se, and we'd like to send out our condolences and make sure that hope for a speedy recovery to his family members. No other, nothing else from the board? We're adjourned.